GOP bill could ban hairdressers from giving gender non-conforming haircuts to minors. That's great. This isn't going to happen. Bill introduced by Republican lawmakers in Arkansas. Yeah, no. This ain't happening. What does that even mean? I don't know. Boys have to have... How would they even know? Is the barber going to be like, all right, dick check. Oh, you want a short haircut? And then you have to like get the 9-year-old kid to drop trout? Like what the fuck are you talking about? This shit don't mean anything. I'm so fucking tired. You get like this wave of insane anti-LGBT legislation from state Republicans, and 99% of the time, it's just meant to make headlines. Like, there's no, vice signaling bills. There's no actual attempt to get it passed. And apparently, it's all being done by pedophiles. Remember that guy who wanted to make Donald Trump's birthday a national holiday, and literally 2 days later, they arrested him trying to have a meeting with a 16-year-old girl? That was crazy. 2 days after. 2 days after. Oh, sorry. No. You're right. That was the Trump derangement syndrome guy. That wasn't the Trump's holiday or Trump birthday holiday guy. That was the Trump derangement syndrome guy. And then 2 days later, he got arrested for trying to fuck a kid. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Not saying we aren't in a bad era, but seeing anti-trans bills like this makes it really clear that the ability to meaningfully make queer people illegal is not legally possible. It is a little bit heartening, like in the sense that queer people are so thoroughly integrated into the social fabric now that the kinds of laws you would have to put forward to revoke them would be basically universally unpopular. Like you would essentially have to do Islamic morality police, right? You'd have to do like the Iranian morality police to come even close to policing the existence of queer people in the way they claim to want to. But the average American, including the average conservative, doesn't want Islamic or any other morality police running around. So, maybe they will in a year. Is this not reminiscent of forcing white hairstyle norms on racial minorities? For sure, there it is. Though that's more of like a respectability being associated with whiteness thing. But no, yeah. But that's the difference there, is that it's organization dependent, right? Because that was schools saying that black kids had to have like civilized hair, but it would be more like banning barbershops from giving kids cornrows, which would be insane. Though I'm sure there's Republicans who would back that. Vaush not trying to whine, but saying the Democrats do win in 28. What stops this shit from ramping up again in 32? Well, all of this will keep happening indefinitely unless the Democrats or whoever else actually makes it illegal to break the law. That I'm like, literally, that's it. Like, we can start from the top. Even if you ignore the fact, like, so in my opinion, you shouldn't be able to be a political figure and be a Nazi. You just shouldn't. It's just antithetical to the principles of democracy. I don't think you should be able to. Much in the same way that I don't think you should be able to, like, be a politician if you have, I'm trying to think, like some prior murder charge that got exonerated, but only on technical ground. I'm trying to think of like what a comparison would be. But frankly, you know what? I think it's weak of me to even feel the need to substantiate it. No, Nazis shouldn't be allowed in charge of anything. Fuck you. You had your chance, and then we firebombed you. Sorry. Sucks to suck. So, leaving that aside, all you would have to do is actually enforce the law when Republicans commit crimes, and that would be the end of the Republican Party. The entire party is built on graft. The fraud and the insider trading and the obvious continuous violations of the law. Nothing changes unless these laws start getting enforced. Now, I think there is a kind of procedural weakness to making the argument that, like, the reason the Nazis got arrested is because of tax evasion or whatever. It's how they got Capone. It's also how they got Le Pen. Right? Like, Le Pen embezzled money, okay. Like, that's not the thing that would have made her a bad leader. Being a Nazi would have made her a bad leader. Sure, get her on the technical take, fine, whatever. It's not really the thing that, like, I care about most, but I do think that laws should be upheld. Wouldn't the establishment Dems be too afraid of catching friendly fire with a move like that? Well, Democrats are nowhere near as corrupt as Republicans, certainly with this administration. So probably not. I mostly just think it's that they're huge pussies. That's the main thing. I just think they're huge pussies. Like there was no, like with Merrick Garland, there was no reason Merrick Garland had to do what he did after J6. On January 20th, Trump had only 14 days ago led an insurrectionary attack on the Capitol building, which was only stopped after the Pentagon, Nancy Pelosi, and a group of neocons put their foot down and essentially made him like a lame duck president in the final few days. Like there are writings on this, but essentially what Trump did was so egregious that everyone put their foot down and they were like, all right, Trump, that's fun. You're not going to be the president soon. We'll take it from here. And Trump basically got to do nothing for the last 10 days of his presidency because they locked him out of power, which is something you can do actually when the president attempts to illegally instigate a dictatorial insurrectionary, coup. I think that's reasonable. And then on January 20th, whatever inauguration Merrick Garland eventually comes in, Merrick Garland was like, yeah, well, I'm just going to not do anything, basically. Rather than take advantage of this massive wave of anti-Trump sentiment, do you have any idea how narratively picturesque that would have been? The final days of Trump's presidency, in a final, angry burst of outrage, he attempts to seize power after he loses the election, and he fails. And then, just a few weeks later, he's on trial. The combined charges, enormous. And he spends the rest of his life in prison, rightfully so. Merrick Garland and Biden chose not to do that. And not for any reason that benefited them. At the time, Trump was widely unpopular. Even Republicans were opposed to J6. Never forget that. After January 6th, even Republicans were like, holy shit, that was too far. Because they had not yet spent the years laundering the narrative. Why was I talking about this? I don't know, I zoned out. Oh yeah, non-binary haircuts. Was it just Democrats believe democracy would be stronger than Trump, or are they just ideologically weak? I think they're just ideologically weak. I literally just think it's that. I'm sorry. I think that Democrats in particular kowtow to capital. They're aware of the fact that everything they do has to be measured against the extent to which capital approves or disapproves. The crazy thing is, capital also turned against Trump. Don't you remember how after J6, like every business leader, there were like right-wing business guru types worth $2 billion on the news being like, this is a disgrace, There were public denunciations of Trump. Like the anti-Trump sentiment was held so broadly. What he did was so egregious, and they just let him go. They just let him go.